Everyone was so sweet on Sunday.
I'm still not recovered.
It's the best.
It was the best.
Guys, Cade's book club. As your book club? Or all kinds of friends?
All kinds of friends, not
Okay,
just
well,
book club.
they threw her a surprise birthday party. And it was the best. And I got to come.
It was
They
the
got to be
best.
sneaky.
They were so sneaky. Everyone was so. I'm still like shocked of replaying conversations in my head. They covered it up so well. I'm one of those people that I always know. Like no one has ever been able to surprise me like that before. I always get a clue. There's something, like I have a sense something's going on extra. I did not even have the slightest inkling. Not at all.
That makes me so happy.
I-
I almost spoiled it a few different times.
That's what everybody keeps saying. But I'm telling you, the detailed conversations that I had with people about what I actually thought was happening
Yeah.
just blows my mind because we were supposed to go to dinner. I thought we had dinner reservations for Saturday night for dinner, which has kind of been like my little friend group's tradition. We do like fancy birthday dinner. We did it last year. We've done it for several people's birthdays. So I thought that's what we were doing. And then we had really bad storms on Saturday. So there were lots of conversations about canceling these reservations and there's no fee for cancellation up till the day of and all this stuff and what are you gonna wear, yada yada yada. We were reviewing the menu, like what are we gonna do?
That is amazing that they were breaking down the menu with you.
Oh yeah.
Like, what are we gonna eat?
And then when we had
Where
to
were your
cancel
reservations?
Galley and Garden, or Garden and Galley,
I have heard of them. I've never been.
I haven't either. It's supposed to be great though. I think the building is historic. We all definitely want to go there for
I
real.
want to go. Put me on your list next time.
Yeah.
I want to go.
We'll put you on the list. Oh, what was I going to say? So the whole party apparently had to get changed at the last minute because of the storms, like everything, the venue, all of this stuff, like they completely had to pivot and redo everything. And they just went to so much trouble to do all that. And it was so sweet. But even the alternate plan that they made, I didn't have a clue. They were like, okay, well, we'll just go to this brewery that's kind of near our house. And because it has a big green area and all the kids can come and play, and there's like cornhole and I don't know, there are like other lawn games for the kids. And there was going to be a basketball game on that my friend's husband wanted to watch. And I mean, details.
That's the key to a good lie. I've
Yeah.
been told. I'm a terrible liar.
I fully believed it. So much so I had extra clothes packed for my 5-year-old because I figured it was going to be kind of wet at the brewery outside. I had a beach towel in case the picnic tables were wet. I had like a waterproof picnic blanket for the kids to sit on.
We're prepared. That was sweet. So I didn't know what I was walking into. And, everybody's kind of friend group does things differently. And I know that I have a tendency to be a little over the top sometimes. And you don't know where the expectations are, right? But I walk in and, well, first off, walking up to this clubhouse, there's a bucket full of flowers outside, which just made me so happy. I was like, there's got to be flowers. And I was also a little bit early. I was like, ooh, maybe I'll get to arrange some flowers. But no, I walk in and there's floral arrangements on all of the tables. They were so beautiful. They had like lemons floating or not floating, but in the water in the vases. Each table had pictures of Kate throughout different years of her life. The food was labeled with the cutest, like everything matched the invitation, the food printouts. There weren't table numbers, but just everything was so like on theme and it made me so happy.
I know. The napkins.
You just never know what other people's level of whatever is going to be. I don't know the correct way to say that, but it was amazing.
It matched your energy.
It did. I was like, can I be friends with all these people?
You can.
Everyone was so nice. I had the best time.
Everybody's so nice. And I was telling somebody yesterday, the thing that kind of hit me most, like in the middle of the party. So all of these people that came were our friends from all sorts of different situations and friend groups. Like I know them all in different ways.
Yeah.
And like nobody's exactly the same. Everybody's kind of different personalities. But every single person in there is just like the kindest, most genuine person.
Oh.
Like they're who they are, and I love that so much. So anyway, I was just appreciating like all of their like genuine personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were so many blue and white button ups.
So many. That was the cutest thing. So my parents surprised me and came. My aunt was there. One of my sisters was there I think because of the scheduling change, there were some people who couldn't come, which is completely understandable. But
Because we were this will come out in a few weeks. We were hunkered down in our basements on Saturday.
yes,
To have the party.
yeah, it was Tornado Alley here. We were lucky. Everything was fine. Yeah.
Last minute plans.
Yeah. But it seriously was, I will never forget it. It meant a lot to me.
Oh, I love it.
It was really sweet. It was really fun. I shared some pictures on Instagram yesterday. I can share some more. I'm still waiting on some. Dad, if you're listening, you owe me the selfie we took.
Oh, there's a selfie. I can't wait to see it.
Of Dad and me.
I love it.
Yeah. And you got to meet all my people.
Did.
That was pretty cool.
They were the kindest, most welcoming people.
Aw. It was so funny. I looked at yesterday, I texted Rachel and I said, wait, when you ran into her at home, is that when you told her about this?
No.
And she was like, oh no, I had messaged her way before that.
Yeah.
My gosh.
That's why it was really hard for me when you were like, you told me that she saw me and I was like, oh yeah. And I was like,
Nope.
Bring it in. Yeah.
Crazy fun. It was amazing.
And the cake was delicious.
The cake was so good. Costco for the win.
That was it custard or whatever the filling was?
Yeah.
Was insane.
I'm trying to remember what it is that Costco always puts in the middle of their cakes. Because I'm not a big, I try to do homemade cakes when I can. For a big party like that, you cannot.
No,
you cannot. You have to have 7
Costco
homemade
sheet cakes are really good.
They're so good. I also really like Target bakery cakes. I think their icing is also really good. But the Costco one was amazing. And it was beautiful too.
It was so beautiful.
It was beautiful.
They did a great job.
They had hydrangeas on it, blue hydrangeas, and it was all personalized. And there were fancy candles.
They were fancy.
Y'all, when I throw a party,
catch your hair on fire, by the way.
Somebody was like, "Watch your hair."
It was me. I was back there yelling because you had all of these. Okay, you had this group blown out, but then the one that was the closest to you was still going, and you were leaning over it, trying to get the further ones away. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, please don't catch your hair on fire." You were fine. It was fine, but
there were candles lining the entire, the whole perimeter of the Costco sheet cake, which that's a lot of candles, and they were tall.
They were tall
too. So anyway, it was great. It was so much fun.
It was amazing.
I keep saying I'm on cloud 9. I'm still on cloud 9. I'm just like, can we do it again?
You should be. Yeah. There's nothing like walking into a room of all of your favorite people.
No. It was crazy when I first got there too, because everybody was standing outside and it was people were behind other people. And it was like unwrapping a gift. I saw another person.
All
I
the
was just
layers.
like, oh my gosh, you're here. You're here. What? And then my parents felt really bad because they had gotten stuck in traffic. So they were late. But I told my mom, I was like, I actually think that it worked out better because you guys were an extra surprise.
Right.
When you drove up. I was just like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
They had been in their basement at 1:30 in the morning the night before because there was a tornado warning. Because the tornado touched down within 10 or 15 miles of their house. Yeah. They still drove all the way up here.
Yeah. So sweet.
My sister and my aunt.
Shout out to Taco Mama. They were a catered Taco Mama, and that is one of my favorite meals of all time.
Yes, me too.
So.
And they're great if you need to have something catered like that.
Yeah.
It is such a thing. It's such a good crowd pleaser. It's a ton of food.
Everyone loves Taco Mama.
We have done that. We did it for another part. So my friend that organized this party, I threw a going away party for her when she moved away for a year and then ended up moving back. Long story. But we did not think at that point they were going to be moving back in a year. We thought we were saying goodbye, and it was terrible. But anyway, so we did a big going away party, and we did Taco Mama too. And it was the best for a party.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely shout out to Taco Mama.
If you want to sponsor our podcast.
We love you. You see me all the time.
Yes, we should do our next date there on the patio.
We should.
It is almost al fresco dining.
It is. I actually had lunch on the patio there last week without you. Sorry.
It's okay. I love lunch on a patio. One of my favorite. Can it be a hobby? That could be a hobby.
Yeah. Patio lunches.
Yeah.
I think it could be for sure.
And I love it when people are like, are you outdoorsy? I really like to drink a cocktail on a patio. Is that outdoorsy?
I think that counts. Yes.
It counts.
If you are outdoors, it makes you outdoorsy.
Yes,
That was
but yeah,
terrible.
lunching on patios is like my favorite. In a caftan, oh, I love a caftan. Getting out of control.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with the caftan. I'm also even more ready for pool season now because the party was at our neighborhood pool clubhouse, which was not apparently where it was initially planned. It was planned for a different neighborhood clubhouse, but they couldn't change that to Sunday because it was already booked for Sunday. But anyway, um, but yeah, like being out there by the pool, I was like, okay, I'm ready for
Ready.
this.
I'm
It's
so
time.
ready. Yes. I saw some girls, they were laying out by our pool last weekend because it was like 60 degrees. Still
Yep,
pretty chilly, but I was like, I miss those days. That was totally been me at like
me
15,
too.
16 years old, like
Yep.
in the sun. Speaking of our tanning bed conversation,
Yeah.
I saw a ad for Palm Beach Tan,
Yeah.
and it was this girl getting a spray tan, but she had this same reaction to being like, I love this. This is the best. And all I could think of was like, it's
No, it's definitely not. Have
unless
you?
they're gonna blast it
Oh,
up there.
we talked about this. You're allergic to spray tans
I
or
am
any
well,
kind
I'm
of.
allergic to like the lotion.
But I would be afraid then
I
to
would
do a
It's
spray tan.
probably transferable to the
I
spray
feel
tan.
like yes. I've never done one, so
No.
I was
But
gonna
she
ask you.
looked like she was having a great experience.
People love them.
They do.
I feel like I would turn everything in my house orange.
Yeah.
Like,
Have
I
you
don't
seen
think
the,
I'm careful enough
no,
for that.
you don't. Yes, you have TikTok now.
Yes, I do.
Next time I get it, I will send it to you.
Okay.
There's a adult silk sleeping bag. It's specifically for spray tan nights.
No,
You put it in your sheets
no.
so that you don't get your bed nasty. And I was just like, I think it's too far. We've gone
Yep.
too far. If you need a silk adult sleeping bag,
Yep. Yeah, I'm not here for that.
no,
Mm-mm.
not at all. But it was hilarious. But natural vitamin D, bring it on.
Yes.
Like, sit outside. You can
I
tell
love
me a
it.
good book to read. Like if while the girls are still in school, if I have a
Oh,
day off, I
yeah.
can just go like park it by the pool.
Yes. Okay. I'll be thinking.
And they're getting to be decent
Yeah.
swimmers. So I think that this year I might be able to read by the pool a little bit.
Might be your year.
Like last year was really good and I could actually sit next to the pool. I didn't have to be in it, but I was still being like very attentive.
Yeah.
And like water is very dangerous. And I think that there will always be a little bit of anxiety. And I
Yes.
would want my chair like as close to the water as possible. But I might be able to read a little bit this summer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not there yet with my youngest, but
I think we're gonna be tall enough to stand up in the shallow end.
yes.
And that's life changing right there.
That is. That is. Last summer, he was learning how to swim and he was doing really, really well, but not, I had to still be there with him for sure.
Yeah.
And like he just turned 5. So he's still learning. And this summer, I feel like this summer, I don't know that the puddle jumper is gonna fit. Like maybe it still will. That's been my lifeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's coming. My big 2 for sure. Like if I didn't have a little one to worry about, like if he wasn't with us one day, I could definitely read. They would be totally fine. They're both really strong swimmers at this point, but they'll be 12 and 10 in the summers. They should be.
Did I tell you the Colin enforcer story from last year?
No.
Okay, so my youngest is 5 and she is the tiniest little peanut you have ever seen. She's very tiny, but she is one that, as they say, wakes up and chooses violence every day.
Yes.
And we were at the pool and the girls were playing with their like little water guns or water toys, whatever it was. And an older, like probably 12, 13-year-old girl takes Kennedy's water gun. Kennedy was 5 at the time, 6. Maybe she had just turned 6, whatever. She goes to her younger sister and she says, she took my water gun. Colin goes up, tiny little thing, goes up to this big preteen teenager girl and goes, give my sister back her water gun. It's just so funny that like the tiny one is the enforcer and Kennedy was like, I'm not going over there, but I know my sister will.
I love it.
It was amazing. And I love that, like, that little interaction. I'm like, Colin is going to take care of business. Like, she's going to take care of everybody. She was not having it.
Good for them for like taking care of it.
Yeah.
On their own too.
Exactly. Like, yeah, I was not involved. I just,
Yeah.
I was there and I heard it and I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And then I was waiting for her to like come up to me and start whining, but she went to her sister and then her sister got it done.
I love it. That is so cute.
Yeah. But just
Sisters are the best.
the teeny tiny one. All right, the sun's out, so summer is on my mind. What are you, a bog bag girl, or what is your pool bag of choice?
That is a loaded question. It really is. I have a bog bag, or I think it's a knockoff. I don't know what brand it is. I do like it for the
Mhm.
pool. I don't love it for the beach.
No.
It's too
There's
heavy and clunky.
Yeah.
I tried one year. I saw a recommendation for a giant Scout bag.
Okay.
And I did not love that. It did not
Okay.
work for me. It was too giant. It held too much. It was too heavy. The straps like cut into my arm. I was not a fan. Last year, I used mostly the bog bag, and then I have like a soft cooler that I almost always take with us too. And I
Right.
feel like those are my things, pool
Yeah.
bags that I always have with me. Oh, I don't take tons of pool toys to the pool.
Oh,
I
that's
just don't.
good.
Take like I mean, we have some,
Yeah.
but not a ton. Also, my two older ones are old enough that they entertain themselves
That's good.
with like, and we have a neighborhood pool where there's almost always a friend.
Right.
So they play categories, they do dive rings, they do all those games.
And y'all have basketball in your
We have basketball
yeah,
thing and a
and
slide.
a slide. Yeah. We don't have either of those. We gotta bring stuff.
They live their best life doing that. When they were smaller, I definitely brought more stuff, but
True. Every year gets a little bit lighter.
yeah, I don't bring a ton of toys. Some, not a ton. The other thing I was going to say is that I don't typically bring the big fluffy terry cloth beach towels to the pool. I have the like, what are they? Turkish?
Yeah. They're
Yes.
so good.
That is the biggest game changer
Mhm.
in the world. I also have some that are like microfiber that
Ooh.
sand doesn't stick to. And I
That's genius.
really love those. They're also very thin and fold up very small.
I love
Oh,
them. They dry fast. They're absorbent. I don't
yeah.
love that they generally have like tassels on the end. I don't know why the tassels just bother me, but
That's okay. I will say the microfiber ones I don't feel like are super great for when you're wet and really want to dry off. They're
Ugh.
fine. But for the beach, they're great. When you
Yeah.
want to put one down on the sand to sit on, because it truly like the sand does not stick to them.
Do you take a sock full of baby powder to the beach?
No.
I do. It's really helpful.
Yeah, I know. I try to be as minimal as possible because
But
I
you
know
just
I'm
beat
gonna
your
end
kid
up.
with it, like you hit them with
Yeah.
the sock, and then
Yeah.
the sand falls off.
So I've never tried this. I saw a video the other day where they had taken a Swiffer duster, a small one,
Oh,
and they were using that to get the sand off.
I think
It was
I'm
like
just a very
lifeguard.
sand person.
See, I'm not. I love the sand.
I want to be in it, but when I am done with it, I'm done. Like as long as I'm there and like laying on the beach, and we're all happy. Give me all the sand. But when it's time to go, I don't want the teeniest bit. Get it off of me.
That's fair. That's fair. For sure. Trying to think what other there was another beach bag I had that I really loved last year that I carried stuff in. I don't know. I do love any kind of mesh bag for pool
Mhm.
toys. That's also the key.
Yes.
One of my friends always brings, she has a backpack that's that mesh. That's where she keeps her pool toys. And that's a game changer also.
Yeah. So Megan Stokes, do you follow her?
Yes, that sounds familiar. Yes.
So she had a beach bag on there yesterday, and it was all sold out in the color that I wanted. But it looked, we've talked about this before. I like a tote bag that will stand up on its own. I hate a floppy tote bag. And this one was mesh, because the mesh one that I have now, actually, I think it was her recommendation last year, is floppy. And it's fine, but I want it to stand up. And this one looked like it almost, I don't know if it had a solid bottom or not, but from the pictures, I think it's going to stand up. And it's got like hooky things on the outside that you could like carabiner or something to if you needed to. It would look very interesting. I'm going to keep an eye out on that because the sage green was beautiful. But yeah, give me a bag that stands up that is also mesh. And I think that's going to be good.
Yeah, I like that idea for sure.
And this thing, I saw it on TikTok Shop. It looks like a sneaker ball. It's little and it has a plastic cage around it, but the ball inside is sticky. So it rolls around in the bottom of your purse and picks up all the crummies. And then when it gets full, you just take it out of its little plastic cage, wash it off, dry it off, and it's re-sticky. Yeah. It was so cool looking because I hate crummies. It's just like the sand. I hate the sand when I'm not on the beach. I don't want you've always got snacks in my pool bag.
Yes. I hate the bottom of the purse.
So it's like
grossness.
It's it looks like a sneaker ball. Ooh, sorry.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Next time I see it, I'll send it to you because
Please do.
And it's reusable. So you just wash the gunk off and dry it. And they said when it's wet, it's not sticky. So you have to dry it off. Then you put it back and it picks up all of the just crap at the bottom of your purse.
That's amazing. Really. I hate the crummies at the bottom of a purse too, because you really cannot get them out. I've tried
No.
everything. Like even the vacuum, like they
No.
still stick to the purse. Like you
Yes.
can't, it
That
sucks up the
lining.
purse
Mm-mm.
lining and not the stuff. Yes.
Game changer. Right?
Amazing. That is truly amazing.
Is this episode gonna be called Friendship and TikTok Finds?
I guess so.
That's what it's turning into.
I also have a recipe I want to share. I know
Ooh,
you
yes,
shared
please.
one last
Tell
week,
me.
and I got the cookbook that you shared, and there are like 75,000 recipes in there that I want.
Yes.
There's like a dill salad, a dill themed salad.
one.
I want to do that one so much. I'm not trying any new recipes this week because next week is spring break and I just don't want to have like excess food around. But after spring break, I'm going to get on some of these new recipes.
Yeah.
But so this was my hyperfixation lunch a few weeks ago, and it's an Ina recipe.
Ina.
It's from her go-to dinners book. I think I got this for Christmas a couple years ago. But it is a Greek orzo salad.
Oh, that looks amazing.
It was delicious.
Please send that to me.
I will. And I added rotisserie chicken to it for some extra protein. So good. I ate it every day for lunch for an entire week and never got tired of it.
Okay, tell us what's in it.
So has orzo, lemon juice, some olive oil, chickpeas, which I love, some red bell pepper, red onion, a little bit of capers, also some fresh dill. Dill may be my herb of the spring.
Yeah.
Some feta and some Kalamata olives and some arugula.
Also, my favorite. I love it. It's so like nutty. Love arugula.
It was incredible. The chickpeas and the arugula might have been my favorite part of
Okay,
it.
tell me about a chickpea. I like hummus.
Yeah.
I've liked like roasted chickpeas, but what is the consistency of a chickpea out of a can?
It is not all that different than the consistency of edamame.
Okay.
Like slightly, not crunchy, but like there's a little bit of like shell casing.
Yeah. Okay.
So a little bit of a bite, but then like meaty, like an edamame bean on the
like
inside.
an avocado.
Not mushy like an avocado.
Okay, because in my mind, since it mushes down to hummus, I envisioned it being mushy like an avocado.
It is probably slightly mushier than edamame, but not nearly as smushy as avocado.
Okay.
That is my scientific opinion.
These are very important questions.
They are. I think in your cookbook that you shared last week, there was a roasted chickpea recipe that looked amazing. With carrots, maybe? We hated on last week, but it was
carrots?
Yeah, we hated on carrots last week, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't like carrots very much this week. So.
Oh, yeah, we did. Because we talked about how we only like them in a roast.
Yes.
But maybe roasted chickpeas, roasted carrots.
Maybe. I will eat a roasted carrot as long as you have to roast it enough so it doesn't taste like dirt.
Yeah.
But
no, I made queso this weekend and it was incredible. And we got diced jalapenos to put in it and diced chilies. Well, I made it last week, like early in the week. And then Chad's dad came and he was like, I heard that you made homemade queso and I didn't get any. And I was like, well, you go to Publix and I will make us some tornado snacks. Like, go get the cheese. Well, he came back with the diced chilies, which was good. But then he also got jalapenos in a jar. I don't know where he got them because I am not like super well versed in all types of Mexican food, but I don't really think of a carrot in Mexican food very much. And it was a can of jalapenos and carrots.
Interesting.
Where did you get this can? So I took out the jalapenos and I diced them up and it was fine. But just like, but the carrot reminded me of like a beanie weenie, like stuff in the bottle of jalapeno or the jar of jalapenos.
Okay.
But it was really, really good queso.
I bet so. But now all I can think is that I want to run to the store and find this carrot jalapeno mix.
It was weird.
Just to see it.
Yeah. I don't even know. Like, surely he got it in the vegetable aisle, not like the Spanish food aisle, right? Because there's like the aisle with like all the salsa and the tacos and like all that stuff. And then there's like the canned vegetable aisle. I think he got it in the canned vegetable aisle because I'm like, this is.
So what did the label on the can say? Was it a can or a jar?
It was a can.
Okay.
I should have taken a picture of it. It said jalapenos and carrots. It's just like the most random combination to me.
Yeah.
And like juice.
No, I'm not. I would not pick that up.
Who uses this?
Maybe
Please let us know if you use
yeah, and how you use it. Maybe we like spicy carrots and we just don't know.
Maybe. I didn't eat those carrots though.
Maybe we should try this.
Can you pickle a carrot?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe you can pickle an onion. You can pickle a cucumber.
Yeah. You can pickle okra, which I
Oh, yes.
love.
Are you gonna make your own pickles with some fresh dill?
Maybe. We didn't we tried that a couple years ago and we didn't have great luck. I
Okay.
think we got like the seasoning kind of wrong. It was fine. We'd try it again probably.
Yeah,
But my
try
husband
grandma's-
grew a bunch of cucumbers. So his COVID project was he created a vegetable garden in our backyard. And we are living in a different house now, but he kept it up for the whole time we lived there. But he had all of these like cucumbers and tomatoes and sweet potatoes that he grew, and probably other things that I've forgotten to. Oh, bell peppers. He grew a bunch of bell peppers, but we never got to eat any of those because our dog steals them right off the vine
Oh my gosh.
and eats them whole in the yard.
Doggies, don't eat the bell peppers.
So anyway, so we had tons of cucumbers and we're like, what are we going to do with all these cucumbers? So we tried to make pickles. We should do that again. That would be fun. My kids love pickles. We all love pickles in my
Same.
house.
Kennedy's obsessed.
Yeah.
Colin will take her and leave them, but Kennedy will eat like a whole jar if I let her.
Yeah.
And she likes a dill pickle.
Yeah.
I like bread and butter pickles.
Cool.
I love bread and butter pickles. Or give me a spicy bread and butter pickle.
Do you like Wickles?
I've had them and they're fine,
I love that.
but I just love the Clausen's, like almost like the burger pickles. They're really
Yeah.
big and really thinly sliced. I like to wrap them up in like deli turkey.
That sounds amazing.
That's going to be a hyperfixation meal incoming.
That sounds like a very good poolside meal. I think that the orzo Greek salad would be a really good mom meal at the pool because it's all just in there together. You can throw it in a little container and take it, and your whole lunch is in there.
It sounds fresh.
It was. I loved
Like-
it. There was last summer, there was another kind of similar thing, but I feel like it was like a cilantro corn. I can't remember all the ingredients. I'll have to find it. It was a good pool, like cold salad too.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a cowboy caviar situation, but not a dip.
Right.
Anyway, yeah.
What about pasta salad? Do you eat a lot of pasta salad?
I love pasta salad. I love everything except for carrots, apparently.
Yes. No carrots allowed.
No carrots. Yeah. So I wanted to share that recipe. And then we talked about my birthday party. And that made me think about friendship because friends are amazing. So I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about friendships today. So
Adult friends are hard.
adult friends are hard.
And you didn't grow up here, right?
No.
When did you move here?
I've been here a long time. I moved here, right? I moved here in 2007.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we've been here almost 20 years.
Yeah.
But I did not have, I'm thinking like, did I know any of these people then? No. It took years.
Yeah.
To make new friends, I feel like. I was young. That was a big, transition time. It was before I went back to school to get my master's. Made some really good friends then, but most of them like live in other places now too.
Yeah.
And really, I'm trying to think. So my book club, I was telling you about this. So my friend Heather and I started our book club 13 years ago. Well, I guess it was 2012 because we lived in the same neighborhood and I've always loved reading. And so I just was like, you know what? I should start a book club. That would be great. So I think I posted in our neighborhood page, hey, would anybody be interested in doing a book club? And she responded. And so she and I started it. We like met together. There's kind of a really funny story about us, our very first book club when it was just Heather and me. And we like met at a little restaurant because we didn't know each other, even though we lived in the same neighborhood. Like I lived in the front of the neighborhood, she lived in the back of the neighborhood. Our paths did not really cross at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we met at this little restaurant and this lady from, I guess, our little like newspaper publication, she came and like interviewed us. We just thought she was coming to like talk with us too about how do we want to do this? What are we going to plan for?
Yeah.
And she like did this interview and it was really funny. But when it came out, all the information was incorrect. Like she had gotten all sorts of things wrong. Like our jobs, our hobbies were like flip flopped, and some of them were things we had talked about our husbands, but she thought it was us. And then we had decided to do our first book club meeting at Heather's house. The lady published her home address. So we still laugh about it
That is insane.
today.
Publishing people's home addresses.
Book club. Book club was a very good catalyst for making new friends for me.
Yeah.
Because that was, it was once a month, not a huge commitment, but it was a point of commonality for people. Like we were all people who liked to read, and it gave us something to talk about.
Yeah.
And so that has like grown over the years. Like we're still meeting once a month. We still love it. We still have people who come and go, and like everybody's welcome, but that has been great for sure. But then a lot of the people now that come to book club, like we the collective book club, we have met other places. Like they're people we know from other things in life that hear us individually talk about book club and are like, I want to come to your book club. So it has grown, and we love it. We still call it the best night of the month. So I mean, we're not like a super serious. We do talk about the book. We're not one of those book clubs that like doesn't actually read a book. We do.
Right.
But if you don't read the book that month, like there are months that like I'm not gonna be able to read the book or whatever that month, or I just don't like it or whatever. We are not gonna judge you if you don't read the book. It's fine.
You can't come. My
No.
mom's in one of those that they're like, if you don't read the book, you can't come.
No, that's not us. But sometimes it is really funny though, because somebody will be like, I'm 3/4 of the way through the book, but I didn't finish it yet. And we're like, okay, we really have to talk about this one. Sometimes it's a book that we talk about a lot,
Right.
which doesn't happen a ton, but there are some books that we're like, oh my gosh, we have to talk about all this stuff. So anyway, we've had people like go into other rooms so we could talk about it for a little while and not like spoil it for
That's
them. And
amazing.
we're like,
I also think it's different if you like consistently don't read the book, then you're not interested in book club. But if there's like 1 month that was hard or whatever,
yeah.
There's always differences.
Yeah. It's also really funny too, because a lot of times we'll talk about books that we've read years ago. Something will remind us of a book we read like 4 years ago, and we'll be like, oh, and then somebody will say, oh yeah, I had to miss that time. And, and then they'll talk about it again. And it's super fun. We love it. We get together once a month and have dinner. Whoever provides dinner. Sometimes we've met at Taco Mama before, because plans have to change. So it's like, oh, my whole family is sick this week. I'm really sorry, or whatever,
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I have a theory on friendship evolutions, if you want to hear it.
I do.
Okay, so I think about my friends in particular, and some of my very best girlfriends I met in college, and we were friends out of proximity. Like we lived on the same floor of our dorm. We all rushed the same sorority. We lived together all through college, and we were there. I'm not saying that doesn't take away anything. I just want to be very clear. Like I love these women very dearly. They've been there with me through the best times of my life and the worst times of my life. But we're all very different people.
Yeah.
Like, if I met them today, would we be friends? I don't know. Like our interests are just so different. But we were friends and so close because we lived near each other, and we all lived well together. And so I think that there's like formative friendships with people just because of who you're around. And then you grow up and you move away or whatever it might be. And then you make friends with people that like you have common interests with. And it's just very interesting to me that like you might live, like one of my very best friends lives 3 states away. I talk to her every single day because our interests just have collided so much, but yet we're not anywhere near each other. Well, very thankful for the internet. I mean, I met you on the internet. But, it just brings people together like that have common interests and things to chat about and share. And like I send her stuff all of the time that I don't send to like my college girlfriends because they wouldn't care or they wouldn't, that's not interesting to them. And I just think it's different how friendships form in younger years versus older years.
Yes.
And like you said with your book club, that's all a shared interest that you have. And like, yes, probably the majority of you like live close by each other, which adds an extra level of easiness.
Yeah.
That's the thing, or a lower barrier of entry because you're all like proximity. But just it's really interesting to me how we were really good friends with these people because they lived in the dorm next, like
Right.
next to me, like the room next to me in the dorm. And we just became such fast friends. But now we're just like such different people.
Yeah.
I love them and they love me. And it's all good. But it's just as adults, you look back and you're like, if I just like met you on the street now, we wouldn't necessarily have
But
as
you
much
had that point of commonality.
right.
Like for a book club, it's I love to read. And in college, it's we live in the same building or on the
Right.
same floor or whatever.
Yeah. And
And
eat all of our
then
meals together.
yeah. And in kindergarten, it's we're in the same class,
Right.
which my childhood best friend is still one of my very best friends to this day. I talk
Aw.
to her almost every day. She lives in California.
Yeah.
And, but we grew up together. We met in kindergarten.
Right.
So we have been friends at this point for 35 years.
That's so sweet though.
And like, I will treasure her friendship forever.
Yeah.
And I know that the same is true. I know that it's reciprocated, but we grew up together. Like, would we have been friends if we met in college or, whatever, if her parents had decided to live in a different town,
Right.
like, would we have ever even met? That's crazy to think about
Right. And
because we didn't go to college together,
yeah. But you were still there.
but we were still there.
I think it's okay though, too, to be like, we're very different people. We've grown up together, but we've grown up individually.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people might be like, oh, I don't want to, but like, no, I think it's not a bad thing. It just is how it is.
Yeah.
And
I also think it's super interesting how friends, and maybe this is not true for everybody, but I feel like my closest friends while we have always had some like basic commonality, we all have always operated independently from one another. Even my childhood best friend, like growing up, like I was a cheerleader, she was on dance team, like we had different hobbies.
Yeah.
I played softball, she was in choir, whatever. So we didn't, even though we were always talking, always seeing each other, always together at school,
just like moving as a unit.
but we still pursued our own interests,
Right.
like we didn't go to the same college. We kept in touch, obviously, because we're still in touch today.
Right.
Went to see each other. She went to Georgia, I went to Alabama, and
It's an
we
H
visited.
relationship, not an A relationship.
Oh, wait.
They're like an H. You have like a fully formed person over here and a fully formed person over here who enjoy to be together. An A would be more like codependent people that cannot exist without the other one, that also like it's just not as sturdy. because
Interesting.
You're like so dependent on that other person.
Okay.
And to be an H and to have like your own interests, but you just also really enjoy each other.
Yeah.
That's a really healthy relationship and not like a codependent relationship.
Okay. I love how you always bring in some sort of like visual example or like a very practical thing to do. Like last week it was chopping onions. It's like the H and the A. Like, that's incredible. You know all these things.
This morning on our walk, I told Chad that the boy cardinals are the pretty ones, and he was like, "What?"
They are.
Sometimes he doesn't believe me, and he's like, "What?
No,
You're
that's-
pulling stuff out of your butt." But I'm like, "No,
That's very true. It's true for most birds.
right." But
And I
yeah,
think-
you want an H friendship.
Yes, you want an age friendship, not an A. I think even when it is hard, like finding friends, making friends as an adult, I think it is a pursuit that is worth striving for. I think
Definitely.
adult friendships are so needed and so, I don't know, vital to your well-being.
%. I talked about her probably 3 weeks ago now. Julia Amory with all the
Yeah.
block prints. She gets on Instagram every morning and does a little reel like while she's getting ready, and she shares some sort of nugget of advice or she answers a question. She's very successful in business, all kinds of things. But today she was talking about friendships, and she was saying that she has 2 children that are very young, and she has a very successful growing business. And she's like, I work so hard and I'm so structured with my time. She's like, I'm in the bed at 9 o'clock. Like, I don't want anything to interfere with my little sphere. Like, I've got my husband, I've got my kids, and I've got my business. But then she said that when she carves out time for her friends and she's a little bit more loose on the rules and she's like, okay, let's go out to dinner, that she is so much more invigorated and revitalized. Even if she has stayed up late that night, she's like, for her mental health, it's just so good. And it's really easy to put that on the back burner and be like,
Yeah.
no, I'm so structured and regimented and this is what I need to do to be successful. But she's like, really, you don't want to go out every night, right? That's not conducive. But
Right.
she's like, when I loosen the reins a little bit and I give myself permission to be with my adult friends and go out, she's like, I come back to work the next day and I'm refreshed and like have new ideas and like you bounce things off of people. And I was like, that is so true.
It is really true.
So easy to be like, no, I don't want to do that because of XYZ. And I was in the bed at 8:55 last night. I would just like to say, but at 5 o'clock this morning, I felt great. But like maybe the one night a week, you don't need to be doing that.
Yeah,
Right.
or once a month or whenever you can squeeze it in. It's worth taking the time to squeeze it in. Or even if
important.
it's a lunch.
Right. Whatever you
Um,
can fit in your schedule. Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, bringing it back full circle. It's almost patio season. So, like,
Mhm.
find a place where your children can just run crazy. You can sit with your friend and have a nice lunch, and they can run outside.
Yep.
Or, like, grab lunch and go to the park or something.
Friendship in motherhood is also like a whole other thing because that brings you together with a whole nother group of people that you probably would not have met.
Right.
And I feel like it's such a gift to everybody involved sometimes. But there are so many people in my life and I'm like, I don't know that I could have survived like early years of motherhood without these people going to the science museum and going to the zoo and going to the park and the pool, all the places that you take kids, because it's
Right.
a lot to juggle. And when you have somebody to lean on just for a few minutes,
Right.
super helpful. It's so
so
hard.
Like motherhood is no joke. It's the best thing ever. And I love them more than life itself.
Yeah.
But it's hard and you need those friends or that you
You
can
do.
like text rash pictures to.
Yes.
Is this normal?
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but she was my neighbor at the time. She said first off, she said two of the kindest things to me. And they're separate. But about friendship and motherhood specifically, she had a son, I think he's 3 or 4 years older than Kennedy. So she was in it. And then her daughter is 9 months older than Kennedy. They're actually in the same kindergarten class right now, but not now, last year. She was like, look, you can ask me any mom question you want. Also, she's a very research oriented person. I think we've talked about this before that like I kind of go by the seat of my pants for better or worse sometimes. I would rather just like text her because I know that she has researched it. But she's like, I will give you whatever answer. If you have a question, you ask me and I will tell you what I've researched. If you choose something different than what I chose, I don't care. Like she was like, I want to be very straight up with you that like I don't care what you choose. And not in a bad way, but like whatever's best for your family is best for your family. I'm
Right.
happy to tell you what I do or what I've researched. And that was like I have in turn said that to so many of my new mom friends. I'm like, you ask me whatever you want. I will tell you what I've been through or what my opinions are. But if you choose something different, like I'm not going to be like, well, I told you to do this and you didn't, so we can't be friends anymore. Like
that is so nice. And so I think that puts into words something that like I've definitely experienced with friends, but never like said it in that way.
Yeah.
But I think I'll start now because that is wonderful.
And you never want, like, especially being on the other side of it, I don't want one of my new mom friends to like ask me a question, choose something different, and then like I don't know what ashamed is not the right word, but I didn't want them to like feel like they can't come back to me
Right.
because they chose something different.
Like you don't want them to feel awkward about it.
Right. Awkward is a very good word.
Yeah.
Like it's
like I'm your friend, not your boss.
Right. Like I don't care what you do, but this is what worked for me.
Yeah.
And if it works, great. If it doesn't,
yeah.
I'm so glad that you found what works for you.
And if you do something different, please tell me because that might work better for me in the future also.
Yeah. And the other thing she said to me, we're kind of talking friendship, motherhood, it's all the same, right? Which I just have told all of my friends as well, is that your experience with labor and delivery has nothing to do with your feelings towards your child. And that blew my mind. And she's like, they are not mutually exclusive. You can have a terrible pregnancy, a terrible delivery, and that says nothing about how you feel towards your baby. And she was also the friend that you never had to be like, but I love them. Like you never had to say that. You didn't have to be like, oh my gosh, I'm having the worst, but I love being a mom. Like that was never, there was no question. You can come to me with whatever you need. And you do not have to backpedal or cover your, like, I am never going to think that you're like, I don't want to be a mom or I don't, like, it was
Right.
never that. It was just, this has been a terrible day. Okay, well, let's go for a walk or whatever. But you didn't have to have that. But I love them.
You didn't have to wrap it up in a bow and make it
No,
pretty
it was
at the end.
the best. It was so needed.
It comes back like full circle to what I was saying about people being genuine. Honestly, anybody that was in the room on Sunday at this party, I feel those things from them. And that's exactly what I mean. Like, that is what a genuine friendship is. Like, someone you know you can lean on
Mhm.
in, I don't know, any number of different circumstances. And you know what? Your friends may operate better on like what you need them for may be situational and what they need you for. Like, you may be the friend that provides comfort or whatever, and somebody else may
Right.
be the friend that figures out, oh, our friend really is struggling, let's take her a meal or whatever. I don't know how to say this very well, but
We
like
all have our own strengths.
we all have our own strengths, and in a friend group that's very true also.
Yeah.
So one of my very favorite podcasters is Laura Tremaine.
Yes, she was so good.
Yeah, she does 10 Things to Tell You, but she also wrote a book called, well, she's written 2 books. One called Share Your Stuff, I'll Go First, which I love, because it's just about like sharing your life and
Yeah.
your stuff. Like, tell your story because everybody has a story and it's important.
I love
But the other one is called The Life Council, and it is about all these different types of friends that you have in your life and like what, I don't want to say like what service they provide because that is wrong,
No.
but like what area of your life they, I don't know, fit into. Or anyway, it's a great book. I did not plan on talking about it today, so I don't have it in front of me to like look at the different seats on this life council, but she does an amazing job of sort of sorting it out. Yeah. Anyway, go read it. It's a great book. And
Love
listen to
it.
her podcast because it's also great.
I've thoroughly enjoyed her podcast since she shared it with me.
I love it. Her podcast is actually how I got into photo organizing. Yep, I know. Crazy. All right. So do we have any other thoughts about friendships? I mean, I have lots of thoughts about friendships, but
None of them are on my head.
okay.
In my head.
But I do want to say, like, make the effort to make time to spend with friends. Make the effort to like serve your friends well when you can.
Yeah.
Because they will do the same for you.
Mhm.
And friendship is just the best. It really is. So I'm so thankful for all of my friends every day, not just when they throw me a massive surprise party and lie to me for months, but
Lie to me for months.
yeah, that was my favorite when one friend was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I don't have to lie to you anymore. This was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yes.
So funny. Do we want to do a quick obsessions and confessions?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
You go.
Okay. Well, my obsession may always be what book I have just read. I don't know, but it's going to be that today. So I just read a book like yesterday and the day before I listened to it called The Tell. I'd have to look up the author's name again. I think it just came out last week, but it is about this woman who experienced some pretty serious trauma in her childhood, and she basically like repressed the memory of it. Like, she did not realize that this had happened to her into her adult life, except that she had all these sort of unexplained habits and symptoms. Like, she had kind of chronic pain and injuries, and she had some like compulsions for running specifically. Like, she always had to be moving or running or doing something.
Yeah.
And then her husband talked her into doing like a drug induced psychotherapy, like a therapy session. That's probably the wrong terminology, but basically she took MMDA. Is that a drug? I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Anyway, in a controlled situation. Apparently this has been approved in Australia or something. Anyway, and so there are always studies about how it works with your brain to allow your body to like get out of fight or flight kind of.
I've read about this.
Yeah.
It's legit.
It's legit. I am like, don't do drugs, people. Or go to the tanning bed. I'm not saying do drugs. Don't do them. They're bad. I won an essay contest in the DARE program in the 90s, okay? Like, don't do drugs. Anyway, through that process, illegal or not, she discovered, like, she remembered these memories and this trauma. So, anyway, it's her story. It's a memoir of that. And it was fascinating. It was fascinating to learn about how memory works and how memories can be repressed and how the brain works. It was not like super sciencey in that way. It was very readable. It's definitely her story, but it was just, I really enjoyed it. It was interesting.
Interesting.
So I'm kind of obsessed with that right now. I could definitely go down the rabbit hole of other stories along that same kind of line.
Yeah.
It's fascinating that your body and your brain can completely forget things that actually happened to you, like traumatic events.
Yeah, you just block them out.
That's wild to me. So I'm kind of obsessed with that thought process right now because
I like it.
really interesting. And maybe I think my confession is going to be that I don't like Funny Bunny nail polish because I can't think of another confession right now.
That's such a good one. We were not all the way recording. I also do not like Bunny nail polish. It just does not look good on me.
Nope,
No.
it doesn't look good on me either. I've tried it so many times and it literally looks like when I was in 5th grade and painted my nails with whiteout.
Do you ever mix it? People mix it with what, ballet slippers or Mademoiselle?
Bubble bath is
Bubble
what
bath.
I did with.
Yes.
And I do like that.
I
do like that. I was
just don't like
actually
neutral
thinking
nail
about
paint.
doing that.
Yeah.
I usually go with, so I go with my favorites, Cajun shrimp,
Asian shrimp.
Dutch tulips,
Yep. That's the one that I wanted when they gave me this. Dutch tulips.
or strawberry margarita.
Yep. That's another really good one.
Those are my favorites. And then I feel like there are a couple more that I have written down somewhere that I like, but those are my very, very strong go-tos.
Yeah, I love that. When I was little, I thought that the coolest job in the world would be to be a nail polish namer. Like,
Yes.
I wanted to work for OPI and come up with the nail polish name.
I have very, very many times picked my nail polish color based on the name.
I love the idea, which I kind of get to do it now, which is really cool. But Chad and I talked about this a lot. The opportunity to be creative in a contained environment. Like, OPI has their themes of each collection, and then they make their names in that theme. Like, I don't care about being in charge of the theme. I just want to decide what the names are going to be, or this is the really parenthood niche thing. Have you ever watched Puppy Dog Pals on Disney?
Yeah.
Well, Frank and Esther, how they pop up in every episode.
Yeah.
Like, I've always said that, I want to be in charge of Frank and Esther. Okay, if you are not in Puppy Dog Pals universe, it's about these two dogs. It's real dumb. And in every episode, this couple named Frank and Esther appear somehow. They might be in the same aisle in the grocery store, or they're on the plane with them. They're in every episode. And I'm like, that is the type of creativity I want to have. Like, I don't care about the script of Puppy Dog Pals, but you tell me what these puppies are doing, and I will figure out where to put Frank and Esther.
I love that. You want to be like the Easter egg hider.
Right.
Yeah.
Being creative given the constraints.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I'm getting to now, because I am told what the shoot's going to be about, and then I get to run with that. So it's really cool. But anyway, yes, long story. When I was little, I wanted to be an OPI nail polish namer.
I think that would
can
be a
spot
great job.
Cajun shrimp from a mile away. I have been known to ask multiple women in the wild, "Are you wearing Cajun shrimp?"
They probably all are.
Of my husband.
Yeah.
It's like,
No, I appreciate all of that. And I love naming things. I also always thought it would be very fun to design wine bottle labels.
ooh, yeah, definitely pick out one label.
I mean, I think that would be a really cool job, or any kind of I guess that's just a graphic designer, but it would be really cool.
Yeah. We could be a graphic designer. I love that.
But again, something very specific. I don't want to be a graphic designer.
No, I
want to be
niche.
a label maker for something very specific.
That's fun.
Yeah. Or book cover designer. That would be also very cool. This is how we got to this point, because we love these very niche aesthetic things. I mean, because a nail polish name is also an aesthetic.
Yes, it is.
It's it's not a visual aesthetic, but it's a verbal.
And it's a whole vibe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's important. All right, let's hear if you have confessions and obsessions this week.
Obsession is I'm very into whole body gua sha at the moment. So I've done facial lymphatic drainage for years, and I go off and on by how obsessed I do it. But when I was so sick this last month, I found full body lymphatic drainage, and it takes 10 minutes. and I do it in the shower with like shower oil, and I really feel like it helps, and like I feel better with like stuff moving,
Wow.
especially like obviously not obviously it helps a lot in your face, like to do like the facial gua sha when your sinuses are just like nasty. It just opens everything up. But then I really feel like when I started doing like my whole body, that it has helped just like move stuff around.
Okay, how did you learn how to do like did you watch a video? Can you send us something? Can you share that with us?
I'll send it to you.
Also, when I've done gua sha, do you like with the little jade thing on your
Mhm.
face? Do
Yeah.
you have like one for your body? Or
And I
move your hand?
also use my hands mostly for my face now.
Okay.
Sometimes I will use the stone, like if it's really stubborn, I will, but I do it every day. So
Yeah.
it just keeps stuff moving. Yeah. But like you push here 10
Right.
times.
You have to start there too,
You
right?
start here,
Like above your collarbone.
above your collarbones. Yeah. And then you like go down the back of your neck here. Then you push like through your like chest bone, like towards your underarm, both sides. And then you have to like push down this or this way. It's a whole thing. I'll send it.
Okay, you've got to share the details with us
It's
because
it's been very helpful.
yeah, I've heard really good things about this.
I can tell a difference.
So this morning I was scrolling, of course, and I saw a video. I think it was a plastic surgeon, and he was rating like beauty trends from 0 to 10.
Yeah,
And there were so many of them, but gua sha he rated really highly.
it is so helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. And then I need a confession. I thought of one and I can't remember what it is.
Oh, sorry. I got really excited about your gua sha.
No,
I'm
it's a good
super
one.
interested in that.
I'm gonna send you the video and then you will also be obsessed with it. Can I confess that I don't like the White Lotus? Have we already talked about this?
We talked about it a little last week, but I think I edited it out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the White Lotus. I'm also not a fan of the new Suits LA. And that hurts my heart because as a diehard Meghan Markle fan. And just I loved Suits. I do not like Suits LA.
Okay.
It's fine. Okay, like it's fine. As a standalone show, maybe I would watch it. I'm not really sure. But like this is really bad. Don't come for us, whoever Suits LA is on. I don't feel like that they're worthy of the theme song.
Oh.
Skip the theme song. I'm like, you cannot play this as your intro because it's not the same. But also, Suits was such a like perfect ensemble of the cast. The writing was fantastic. The delivery was fantastic. Did you ever watch it?
No.
It's so good.
Sorry.
It's okay. Regular Suits is like just one of my all-time favorites. I think it is such a well-written, performed show. I can watch it all day long. And then Suits LA, it kind of ties back in because the new guy in Suits, like he knows the main guy from the old one. He actually was on last night in like a flashback, but it's just not the same. And it makes me really sad because I wanted to love it. So we're going to watch it. It's
That's
fine.
hard.
Like I will watch it. But I'm just not as invested in these characters. And I feel like they just started in the middle instead of actually giving me any character development.
Yeah.
I understand starting in the middle to like try to capture your audience. But also, if you don't give me any backstory, I just don't care about them.
Yeah. It can fall flat really easily.
I need to know why I care. So that would be my confession is that I do not like White Lotus and I am not a fan of Suits LA right now.
I'm still liking White Lotus, even though I don't even want to admit that I'm watching it because it's so grungy sometimes.
I've heard.
But I am kind of obsessed with Parker Posey and her accent this season.
Really?
Yes.
I've seen all of the like content made around that.
Yeah.
I have to watch the second one, right? Like the second season. I can just skip to the third
You could.
because they're standalone, right?
No,
Oh, I don't know why I thought they were.
definitely connected. I think as the seasons have progressed, like in season 2, you understand that they are then connected.
Okay.
And now the third season is also
Oh,
connected to
definitely
both
thought they were
1 and 2. I think you could probably watch it without having watched season 2, but I think you probably could. But you can also just like look up what happens.
true. Through it.
No,
Everyone at
you
work-
have to force yourself
Everyone
through.
at work is talking about it, and like I want to be in the zeitgeist of the
I know.
TV.
Maybe that's why I'm liking it so much, just because I've spent a lot of years like not in the zeitgeist, and I'm like, I can be included in this. I don't have a million tiny children. I mean, I still have one that's really tiny, but I can actually watch this,
Yeah.
and have the bandwidth to process that kind of complex storyline.
Yeah. I'll try
So,
again.
maybe. And then we'll walk around going, no,
Heard that audio.
no, tsunami.
Yes, that's the audio, but I have no reference points.
That's okay. I do really like her accent though. She's funny. All right.
Send this to your best friends.
Yes.
A lot of friends content. Let us know.
Yes.
And why. Tell us how long you've been friends with your oldest friend.
Yes. Tell us your
Want it.
friendship stories in general. If you met friends in like crazy ways as adults, like bizarre ways, or if you've just had the same friends forever.
Do you have any tips for meeting new friends? That would be good.
Yes. Encouragement for cultivating friendships as adults, because it can be hard, but like we said, it's
Worth it.
very important. It's worth it.
Our new favorite lip balm or lip gloss. Worth it.
Worth it. Yeah. Too funny. All right. So I guess we will say goodbye until next time.
Sounds good.
Button up, buttercup.
Buttercup.